1 Cup Winners' Cup, 2 Europa Leagues, and 3 Coppa Italia's. Parma used to be an absolute force years ago. However, things have kind of fallen on a little bit harder times. They are now finding themselves in the Serie B, and it is our job to rebuild them. Yes, we are taking our talents to Italy to rebuild Parma. Now, if we dive into the game, you can see all of the stuff that I mentioned. Obviously, the one-time Cup Winners' Cup in 1993, the two-time Europa League winners most recently in 1999, 1 UEFA Super Cup as well, also in 1993, and 3 Coppa Italia's most recently in 2002. As I said, they are now in Serie B, which is where we will take over them in this rebuild today, guys. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they do get on. Obviously, Genoa start the league on -1 because they've already been deducted a point for financial mismanagement. Obviously, Lecce go on, went on to win the Serie B last season to get themselves back into that top flight. We need a tactic to do the job, and today we are using the GYR Loki tactic. If you've not seen the video where I tested 20 of GYR's best tactics together, this one came out on top, so I thought it was a perfect time to use it in this rebuild of Parma. So this is the tactic. It is a 4-2-3-1 with 2 defensive midfielders, and if we quick pick without restriction, this is the best 11 that you will see. And yes, in goal we still have Gianluigi Buffon, age 44, ladies and gents. He's got 5 pace, 4 acceleration. I don't care. It is Buffon. He has started his career at Parma. He's been to Juventus. He's been to PSG. He's back at Parma. Yes, he's 44, 176 caps for the Italian national team. He's going to be a club legend. He is a club legend already. But obviously, we've got some good players here. Valentini is a good little player that I've noticed before. Dennis Mann, also very, very good. So we'll be looking forward to some interesting stuff coming out of him. Obviously, this guy, Franco Vasquez, is listed as our best player. But again, 33 years of age, a little bit on the older side, so we're going to have to see what we can actually do here, because as you can see, Pizzala, Hernani and 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 𝙤𝙪 are all actually out on loan. So this is the best team that we can actually put out for the Serie B, but we're going to have to see. Buffon, age 44, still one of our best players. That is a problem longer term. If we go into the competitions, obviously, that we do have the Serie B, we do have the Coppa Italia. I would love to win a Coppa Italia to add to the 3 that they've already got, or maybe even a Serie A title. Who knows? Who knows what this 5 years will bring? We will rebuild them for 5 seasons and see how we get on. In the season preview, though, we are predicted to come in 3rd, according to the media predictions. As you can see here, Genoa and Cagliari are the 2 teams predicted to go back up. They were relegated alongside Venezia, so we're going to have to see what we can do in season number 1. Let's simulate and see how we get on. So guys, before we get into the results of season number 1, if you are enjoying the video and you are enjoying the rebuild content, the extra upload of rebuild content on the channel, please do hit that like button down below and consider subscribing if you are new around here picking up content for the very first time. That's enough of the begging. Let's get into the results. So Serie A is on the cards for us. Our main goal was to get promoted, and we did do just that. We won the league as well, guys, with 74 points. Absolutely smashing it. Pisa and Benevento also getting promoted, so we've done really, really well there in terms of the league. Monza knocked us out in the first round of the Italian Cup. Don't really care about that one just yet. Our main goal is to get ourselves back into the Italian top flight, and we've done just that. Franco Vasquez absolutely smashed it for us. As you can see here on the bottom left of your screen, he was the top goal scorer. He was the highest average rating. He also had the most assists. The guy popped off 27 goals in all competitions, 14 assists in all competitions. The guy absolutely smashed it as he turned 34 as well. So he is an old boy in this particular save, but not as old as Gianluigi Buffon. So we're going to be playing Serie A football again. Obviously, we have the non-EU rule, which is going to be an interesting one to contend with. Speaking of things to contend with, we've got we have no money. They've given us about 40 grand a week in terms of our wage budget, 1.1 million pounds. And the reason we have no money is because we've got debt, ladies and gents. We've got about 16 million pounds worth of debt, which I'd like to think over the course of 5 seasons we could probably get rid of. Let's see what we can do in this transfer window for season number 2. Okay guys, so we're going to start Season 2 by talking about this man again. Yes, I know I've mentioned 𝘼𝙗 before, but he has really dropped off a cliff now. He's got 9 reflexes, which is a real problem, which has prompted us to actually spend a little bit of money on a goalkeeper. The little bit of cash that we did have, we spent it on a goalkeeper and a centre-back, but he was free. So we're kind of hoping that the squad that managed to get us promoted has the morale, has the ability to keep us in the division. So let's first of all talk about the free transfer. This is 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪. He comes in from Liverpool. Obviously, he spends the first season, I believe, out on loan with Sheffield Wednesday. He looks very well-rounded. Nice option for us. Nice 2.5-star player, potential 5-star player. His con is he's listed as a leading Serie C player. But hopefully he can go on to be a bit of a presence for us. He is 6'5", decent enough jumping reach and heading and stuff like that. And he was free, as I mentioned, obviously on loan last season in League One with Sheffield Wednesday. Now he comes into Serie A. Now I said we needed a goalkeeper and we brought in Big Bart. I'm not going to ruin this guy's name. Former Fiorentina goalkeeper. That's where I know him from at the very least. Nice good jumping reach on this guy. 17 jumping reach alongside his 6'3" frame is going to be quite good. He's more mobile than 𝘼𝙗, but then that isn't very difficult. He comes in, he will most likely be our starting choice keeper. I'd be very surprised if my assistant picks 𝘼𝙗 at any stage of this season. If we quick pick without restriction our best 11, obviously some of the loan players that were out last season are now back as well. That really does help, like Hernani and stuff like that. So it's very good to see some of these players back. I'm hoping we can kind of push on here. Dennis Mann is okay. This guy's asking for a new contract. We can maybe tidy some of this up, but I think this team's quite good. I'm really happy with how this is going to go because I think we have enough quality to survive in Serie A. Obviously, we do have the Coppa Italia and the Serie A. The board expectation is to fight bravely against relegation, and we will, of course, try to do that. If we expand the league, you can see AC Milan won the league last season. If we go into the season preview, we are amongst the worst 3 teams in the division. Obviously, you can see Pisa and Benevento, who also got promoted. But there's teams like Monza, Salernitana, Empoli, Lecce. I feel like we can be in that cluster of like the bottom 6 maybe, and maybe we finish above 3 of them, and hopefully we stay in the division because I don't like getting relegated. So let's simulate season 2 and see what we can do with Parma. The goal in Season 2 was survival, and that is exactly what we have done. It was in doubt for a little bit of time, but as I mentioned, there were some teams in the division that I thought we could be better than, and it turns out we very much were. Empoli, Benevento, and Pisa go down. Monza, and then we finish in 16th. Bologna down there. Fiorentina, a very interesting one to see down there as well. But we do survive on 39 points. 25 points got there. Got Pisa relegated. So we've done our job, basically. We have survived, which is the main thing, guys. We had to survive in the league, and we did do just that. We got knocked out in the 3rd round of the Italian Cup by Atalanta, and Inter go on to win the title pretty darn comfortably as well, I must say. If we go onto the home screen, you can see Gennaro Tutino is our top goal scorer, but he's not great, guys. He's not great. I'm not going to lie. He is consistent in the fact that he can play 3 key positions for us. 4 key positions if you maybe count central attacking midfield, but he's not the elite out-and-out goal scorer that we really do need. Before I dive into stuff, let's talk. There were no extra transfers, just so you guys know. We lent a load of players to Tourist. If you've not seen the Gibb Shows doing a save with Tourist, please do go and check out that over on twitch.tv/The Gibb Show, I think. Please do go and check them out. Very good save over there. But let's talk for season number 3, guys, because the finances just really aren't improving at this club. We managed to keep them in Serie A, and we've just got no money. Look at that budget, 286k and about 20 grand in the wage budget. This is going to be really difficult to improve this season on season if this does not change. So I said we were going to have to wheel and deal, and I feel like I'm Harry Redknapp with my arm hanging out a car window because we've done it again. We've gone out and we've got ourselves some good free transfers. First of all, let's talk about the player who has less. Stanko Juric has gone to Mallorca. He wants a bit of that Spanish sun. He's gone for £3.2 million. It could rise to £4.1 million. He looks like a good little player, but he has gone to Mallorca. Obviously, I feel like we can get better in these positions. So when some of these players get offers, regardless is what the offer is, sometimes it's good to sell them for money rather than just let their contract expire, basically. Now, let's talk about some of the players that we have got coming in. Lorenzo Colombo. This guy is in the Italian under 22 3, whatever tournament it is going on very shortly. He is in that team for Italy. He looks like a very good prospect. He is obviously a AC Milan player, not getting the game time at Milan in game, so we've taken him in on a free transfer. As you can see now, he's valued at 4.7 to 6.4 million quid. Looks like a nice little player, good on both feet. He can be this goal scorer for us. I have the faith that he is a very good goal scorer for us. 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 comes in as a central midfielder, again another free player, comes out of Atalanta, former Como player, as you can see in the bottom right hand corner. He's just well-rounded squad player. Sometimes you need some of these boys. And then Marco De Gracia comes in, another striker for us. We needed a bit more depth in this area as well. He can also play central attacking midfield, so it gives us several options, guys. But when your hands are tied with the amount of funds that we do have, it's very difficult. We've gone into the positive now in our overall balance, which is great. And that debt is down to 3.4 million, basically, is what I'm going to call that. So we are making really good strides to hopefully have some money towards the end of this rebuild. But we're going to have to see what we can do. We go into the tactic and quick pick without restriction, our best 11. This is how things are looking going into season number 3. And as you can see now, Bart is in goal. Delapo, Bologna, Valenti is still there. Koulibaly, Som, Hernani, Man, Sitis, I'm butchering these, Malinia, and Colombo at top. So this is the team. It's a little bit younger. It's a little bit fresher. We're still lacking in this central attacking midfield position. But other than that, I'm quite happy with some of these players. I will touch on Dennis Mann, actually, because I really thought he was gonna pop off. After a decent season in Serie B, he was woeful last season in terms of that goal return. Just 1 goal in 36 appearances is not good enough. We're going to need to get a little bit more out of this man. If we go into the competitions tab, obviously we do have the same 2 competitions again. The Coppa Italia, we take on Spal in that first round. The board expectation in the league, again, fight bravely against relegation. If we go into Serie A, you can see obviously Inter did win it last season. We go into the season preview and we are predicted to finish 19th, guys. So it was definitely a lot worse than last season. Sampdoria, Genoa and Palermo get themselves promoted back into the division. And as you can see though, there are still some really good players still knocking around the division by the Media Dream 11. Big Mike still in goal. Theo Hernandez is still at AC alongside Donali. Milinkovic-Savic is still here. Barella, Martinez, Kvaratskhelia. They're all still in Serie A, so it's still quite a strong division. But I feel it's going to be another fight against relegation in season number 3. Okay guys, so season 3 actually went a lot better than I was expecting. Maybe we were dragged along a little bit by a very good tactic, but I think ultimately this is a fantastic season for Parma, the second season back in Serie A. We finished in 10th. Obviously Fiorentina finished below us, but did qualify for the Europa League. But there are some big boys, and it's our 3rd winner in 3 years of the Serie A, so maybe come season 5 we can get something out of this. But Atalanta win the division, Milan, Napoli and Inter round off the Champions League places. Juve and Lazio, my boys, are in the Europa League spaces. Or sorry, hold on, Juve are in the Champions League spaces as well, never mind. But yes, a very, very good return. In the relegation, it's Monza, Genoa and Palermo again. In the Coppa Italia, we got knocked out in the 3rd round by Roma. So again, not the worst, and it's okay to go out of the cup in a difficult tie against the team that is basically better than you. If we go onto the home screen, you can kind of see some of the player statistics as well. Lorenzo Colombo, 15 goals for us in his debut season in Serie A. I'm really happy with that. Dennis Mann, after slaughtering him before the start of the season, is our highest average rated player. He also got 9 goals and 14 assists. He was our highest assist giver as well. So I knew he would come good, and I'm glad he did. He also got the most player of the matches as well. So all in all, guys, I think that's a fantastic season for season number 3. That is the wrong button. If we go onto the finances tab, you can now see the debt has gone back up, but I think once we get our finances for the next season, like at the start of season number 4, you will see that number go. We've got 4.6 million pounds. This is the most we've had going into a summer transfer window, but we are kind of currently spending like basically our wage budget, so we're going to have to do some tinkering here to see what we can do to strengthen this side for season number 4. Right, season 4's transfers are in, guys, and we've kind of overspent a little bit compared to what our actual budget was, which is okay in my opinion. I think we've picked up a couple good free transfers as well to offset it as well. As you can see on the right hand side of your screen, not a lot in terms of outgoings, just some fees for people going out on loan. nothing really to write home about here. But the players that we've brought in, let's start with my fan favorite, Sebastiano Esposito. Yes, he does have a brother that plays in the league as well. This guy comes out of Inter Milan. He's very young, 23 in game right now, 6'2", a nice big meaty man to be in this central attacking midfield or striker position. As you can see, he's versatile, can play in a number of positions, and I think he can really help us improve, especially coming in on a free. We also signed this guy as well, 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 𝙈𝙚. I definitely butchered that. He can play defensive midfield, which is good because we have two of them. He can also play in central midfield, can be deployed at centre back if definitely required, but we can play a number of positions for us. He comes in on a free transfer yet again. Obviously, we need to wheel and deal in this particular save, guys, because the money just is not there compared to last rebuild when we had Hertha Berlin and they had all the cash. 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 comes in from Chelsea on a free transfer. Again, can play in three key positions for us. High potential, 6'1", 21 years of age. He's been out on loan in a couple of places, but he's never really got the game time to really develop into a top tier player. Obviously, he comes in as a non-EU player because cheers Brexit. So yeah, I think he's a good, nice little option for us. A fan favorite, Andrea Pipetti, comes in from Brescia. We paid some money for him. He's not as good in this year's game as he was last year, but he's still very good. 15 pace, 15 acceleration, high natural fitness, great mentals for a centre back as well, alongside high technicals in the key areas that matter. Nice heading, marking, tackling, etc. He comes in from Brescia for 4 million quid, having played the entirety of this save, in Serie B. 4 million quid for a player in the division below. Bit steep, but we will see. Lars Ednes comes in from Odds as well for 4 million quid. Again, yes, the Wonder Kid filter is out in force, guys. If you've not seen my video on my Wonder Kid filter, please do go and check it out. Instead of the link being in the description now, it is actually in my Discord, which you can join. The links to that are down in the description as well. Lars Ednes comes in. He looks like an electric winger or striker. I like him. Comes in from Odds for 4 mil. Nice high flair, nice high determination, really good driven personality as well. You know this Wonder Kid is going to improve if he plays. And these are the types of players that you need to sign in these instances like Parma. You need to be scouting, using the scouting center, using my Wonder Kid finder to kind of find these gems and then ultimately sell them on for a profit, basically. So Lars is in and he will most likely start for this team. If we quick pick without restriction, our best 11. This is how we're looking going into season number 4. Bart in goal still. The defense has kind of stayed the same. Anani alongside Son there. Man obviously had a very good season last season. I really want him to build on that. 𝘼𝙗𝙪 comes in to be that central attacking midfielder. And Colombo, I'm hoping, can bounce on and have a very good second season with us. 15 goals last season. Didn't average over a 7, but 15 goals, a goal every other game. I'm all right with it. I'd like to see him improve on that this season if we possibly can. If we go into the competitions tab, of course, we have the same two competitions. The board, again, just wants us to avoid relegation. And if we go into the Serie A and take a look at the media preview, we are kind of slowly climbing those positions. We are now predicted to finish in 15th, so that will be comfortably safe. Cremonese, Frosinone, and Como get themselves promoted. Inter Milan at the other end of the table are still favoured to win the title because, as you can see, that defence is basically all the Inter defence, according to the Media Dream 11. Big Mike, Kalulu, Tomori, Hernandez. They've still got Tonali in there as well. There's still some really good players in this division, so it's going to be interesting to see what we can do for season number 4. Come on, top half of the table. Let's get it. Top half of the table. Indeed, we have absolutely smashed it in my mind because we have finished inside the top 5 and we'll be playing Champions League football again. We're going to hear the music. Parma are back in Europe, baby, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do in this 5th and final season. We just about get in there. Inter actually drop off despite us winning our last game. Despite us losing our last game of the season, we still finish inside the top 5. If Inter had won, I believe if Inter had won, we would have not been in there. Yeah, they drew with Torino. So if they'd have won on the last game of the season, they would have been in the top 5. We would have been in the Europa League. But instead, as it is, we are in the Champions League. There's lots of us in the Champions League from Italy because Milan, Juve, Napoli, Torino, ourselves, and Lazio, who I assume won the Europa League, my boys. Yes, they did. They beat Freiburg in that final. They qualify for the Champions League as well. So Italy very well represented. And AC Milan pick up their second title in 5 years. At the other end, Sampdoria, Como, and Frosinone all go down. We get to the quarterfinals of the Coppa Italia. This is our best performance by quite a long shot, where we lose to Juve, which is annoying. We lose 3-2 in extra time to Juventus there. Very disappointing because I genuinely don't think this Juve side is that good, and I think we probably should have beaten them, which is really, really frustrating. But we do qualify for the Champions League, guys. That is the main thing. Speaking of the main thing, the finances, man. We've qualified for the Champions League and we've just got no cash. None at all. Like £3.2 million. We've got about 40 grand a week in wage budget as well. That net debt has gone up. I just don't understand what is going on with this club. Hopefully we can kind of get that Champions League stability and get even more money back into this club. We're going to have a transfer window for the 5th and final season. Let's see how things go, boys. So guys, this is the part of the video where if you are still watching, I ask you to comment something down below to let me know that you are still here going into season number 5 of this Parma rebuild. And it wouldn't be a Parma rebuild without mentioning this guy. So I just want you to comment down below. Buffon is a legend, which he most certainly is, an absolute legend of the game. And if we dive into the game, you can see we've spent some money on goalkeepers yet again. This guy comes in from Slavan Blupu, which is a club I have never even heard of. That is in Croatia, which is nice to see. He comes in Sertan Pjaj. Oh wow. Pajic? That's definitely wrong. But he comes in, nice high determination on the boy as well, which is really, really good to see. He now comes in, he's basically our top goalkeeper as well. Nothing else to really report because we just have no cash. It's so hilarious how this number's gone up despite being in the Champions League. We've still got money to spend, but I just don't see what we can do, to be honest. Our hands are very much tied. If we go into the tactic and quick pick without restriction, our best 11, this is how we're looking, guys. The new goalkeeper comes in. Papetti now has a starting spot, which is good to see. Valenti goes out into the left back spot. And then, yeah, Man, Esposito, and Colombo are kind of going to be my 3 that I'm going to rely on quite heavily here to get the job done. Esposito wants a new contract. Colombo also wants a new contract, so we'll get those boys sorted because Esposito last season, if we take a look at him, 8 goals and 10 assists, 18 goal contributions in all games, averaged over a 7, which you love to see. And Lorenzo Colombo got 17 last season. I really want him to hit 25 in all comps this year. And obviously with the addition of the Champions League phase, I think he could most definitely do that. If we go into the competitions tab, obviously you can see the Champions League there. We do enter in that league phase, as I mentioned. We do have the Coppa Italia. We do have the Serie A. And the board expectation now is to finish mid-table. So I'm hoping we can kind of push on and do a bit better than that. We are now predicted to finish in 14th, guys, and still no media Dream 11 players for us. Milan, again, the predicted favourites to win the title, to win their 3rd title in 5 seasons. So we're going to have to see how we do get on, and we kick the season off with a game against Juve. Let's simulate our 5th and final season and see what we can do with Parma back in European competition. So season 5 is done and Parma back in Europe. How did they get on in all competitions? Did it affect the league form? Did it impact the Coppa Italia performance? Well, here is the competitions tab, and I think we've had a very solid season again. We are 8 points away from the title. Juve win their 1st title in 5 seasons. Roma, Napoli, and then Parma complete those top 4 spaces in to get 5th. Fiorentina gets 6th. And look at this coefficient now. 6 teams from Italy into the Champions League. I feel like we were close. I do feel like we were close. 10 defeats all season, which is really frustrating. Turn a couple more of those into draws, and I think we're in a much, much better spot. We'll talk about Lorenzo Colombo shortly. We get knocked out in the quarterfinals of the Coppa Italia by Fiorentina. I felt like this might have been our season in the Coppa Italia, but it wasn't to be. And we get into the playoff round of the Champions League, where we get absolutely bodied by Manchester City. We draw 1-1 at the Etihad, but the game's already gone. They won 5-1 in the home leg, but the team's pretty good. Ederson, Max Aarons, Ruben Diaz, Laporte, Wijnaldum, Zaniolo, Bernardo Silva, Ryan Cherki, Benjamin Sesko alongside Erling Haaland. So you can see the level of talent. They got Ansu Fati, Kevin De Bruyne, John Stones, Hassan Odrego coming off the bench. So you can kind of see why we got absolutely slapped up by Man City in this. But the reassuring thing is that we got through some of these league fixtures. As you can see here, we picked up some very impressive results. We beat Anderlecht, we beat Ludogorets, we beat Rennes. There are some bad ones in here. The 5-2 loss to Liverpool, and I know you guys have seen it. Yes, 9, N-I-N-E, 9, yes, goals against Real Madrid. I feel like the boys got stage fright at the Bernabeu. 2 for Alaba, 1 for Vinny, 3 for Rodrigo. 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 got 2, 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪, like, look at all the red. Our boys just got stage fright, didn't really work for them. But we get through in the league phase, as you can see. We get in the qualifiers here, and obviously we take on Man City, and the rest is history. So ultimately, I think that's a good performance in the Champions League for me. Quarterfinals in the Italian Cup, and then another top 4 position secured. I felt like if we had another season in the bag, then I think we would have gone on to do really, really good things with this save. Lorenzo Colombo is our top goal scorer. I asked for more out of him, and he definitely delivered. Obviously, with the game time, you can see he's improved to a much better player than when we got him off of AC Milan. And if you play him at the start, I think he could go on to be even better. He got 26 in all 26 in the league, so that definitely stepped up. Averaged over that 7 rating, which is what we were looking for. 32 goals in all competitions for Lorenzo Colombo, which is great. Another player that I've not actually touched on too much is 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪, and he is a very good player. He's just not a DM. He's just not a defensive midfielder for me. So if you do have a save with this guy in, please do try and go and get him. He is very good, but ultimately didn't fit into this tactic, which is a bit of a shame. But ultimately, I think things went really, really well with Parma. Okay, we didn't add to the trophy cabinet. If we go and take a look at their finances, we've got 29 million in the overall bank balance, 15 million there in transfer budget, and that debt and loan, guys, is now gone. So if you did want to take over this save, you can do so via my Discord. Links to that will be in the description. I post these saves as they are in my Discord so that you guys can go and get your hands on them. And if you do like the rebuild content, guys, check out this playlist. It is all the rebuilds that we've done on this year's game so far.